Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. I know it's been a long time since I've last uploaded anything, but we are back and I should be posting monthly from now on. So the purpose for this video is basically, as the title says, it's a tutorial. I know that I already made a tutorial before, but I made the tutorial while I was still learning the app, so I did not have full knowledge of what to do. And I've been getting a lot of questions on some of my videos. Some people leave a couple of comments on things what to do, so I realized that my first video didn't clarify everything basically on how to design. But from now on, I believe with this tutorial it should put you ahead, and with you having more knowledge and more understanding of how to basically navigate your way through the app. Okay, so first things first, I would recommend that you unlock the full version. And unlocking the full version, I don't know how much it costs in your guys' country, but on my side it cost 100 rand at the time. So with also unlocking the full version, it gives you access to screen record your plans. Sorry, whenever I say plans, I mean project. It's just South African terms we use plans when we talk about, you know, drawings of any kind. So yes, it gives you the access to screen record your project. And I'm pretty sure if you try to record on your guys's apps, that's if you haven't unlocked the full version, that it's just pitch black. So yeah, with you having to unlock the full version, it gives you access to screen record. And what app am I using to screen record? Well, my phone comes automatically with a screen recorder, so I'm not sure of what kind, but I mean, if you search on Google Play Store, I'm pretty sure you can find any other third-party apps that can give you the capability for your phone to screen record. Okay, so once that is done, what I would suggest that before you create any project, go to settings and go all the way down to units. I'm from South Africa, so the measuring system we use here is via millimeters. So for this case video, I'll be using millimeters going forward. So yes, and then once that is done, you just go down here to this plus sign circle, plus sign in a circle, which is to create new plan. So before you create your plan, what you need to do is also make sure that your height floor, for this case I'll be using 2700 millimeters, so that's 2.7 meters. So what basically this does is that you can adjust the floor height of, or rather you can adjust the height of your building. So that's like whenever you step into a building, the ceiling space is basically going to be from 2700 millimeters, 2.7 meters. Automatically, I believe the app is set at 2500, which is a standard on the app, but for this case, for this video, I'll be making it 2700 millimeters. Okay, so to add your floor space, what you do is you drag down the square room. So your square room is automatically set to 4000 by 4000 millimeters. But for this case, I will be adjusting it to 8309 millimeters by 9640 millimeters. And then now to snap our wall, and what snap is, it's basically for you to create a corner within your room. So for us to create a corner, we will click on the wall, and once you've clicked on the wall, it'll be highlighted green as you can see here, and then you go to corner, and then there you go, you have snapped your room. And I want to set this all the way to 3349 millimeters. Okay, and then I go all the way down this side. I also click on the wall again. Make sure that it's highlighted green, only the wall that you want to adjust. It's highlighted green, and then I snap it, and then I adjust it all the way down to, let me see, I want to make this one 3202 millimeters. So then now we drag the top corner of our wall, just you click on it like that, and then we move it down because I want to add a room where there's space there. I want to add rooms there. Okay, so now I've got my measurement and I'll be adding more rooms. So I go to square room, I drag it down, and I'll resize this one to 3129 by 1418. So something you need to be aware of is that in order to move your room without having to mistakenly resize it accidentally, what you should do is that you should lock your walls. You click on your wall again, make sure it's highlighted green, you lock it, and then click the other side. Then all four corners basically now won't move because they are locked from two sides, so it won't move at all. So I'll just undo everything. That is just for illustration purposes. So then now you will drag it, and I want it to have a spacing of 220. Why is it so? Because this will be our load bearing walls. These will be, because this is going to be a double story design, so this room is going to be built on top of it, and there's going to be another wall straight on top of these walls right here. So instead of making them 110 millimeters, I'll make it 220 millimeters so that they can carry the load from on top. So even this room, I move it and I adjust it to 220. There we go. Okay, so now we drag another room and I resize it to 3129 millimeters by 3331 millimeters. And then I drag it and I make sure that I lock my walls again. And then I drag it. Then I make sure that I still maintain my spacings of 220 millimeters. And then I also make sure that I lock the position so that my rooms don't basically move out of place. Since the app does not have any sort of concrete beams, what I do is I go to the menu and I go all the way down to general and I find a box, and this will basically be in place of my concrete beam, and I'll make it 220. So then we'll move the beam at the start of my 3129 wall. Then I'll drag it all the way to, I'll just stop right there. First, let's change the height of it. So the height is set to 1000. I want it all the way down to 250 millimeters. So that's 25 centimeters. And I want to set it to 2700. Right, so now since I already have my measurement, what I'll simply do is that I'll click on it and duplicate it, or rather clone it, and then move it all the way to the end of this side. And I want it flush with my other wall. Right, then once that is done, I just resize it so that it interlocks, or rather it joins with the other beam. And then now you can just go ahead and lock your position and your sizing so that it doesn't move around. Then what we'll do is that we'll add another box. This box will basically act as my column to support my beams. So I'll resize my column to 330 by 330. And I'll place it right there at the corner where both beams join. And I'll set to 5300. The reason why I'm doing that is because I don't want to add another column on the second floor. So rather what I'll do is just make it 5300, knowing that I don't have to create another one or duplicate it to the upper floor. In 3D, it should look something more like this. Okay, so now to create our front porch, what we'll be doing is that we'll duplicate what we did right here onto the other side. So we'll start by cloning your beams. And let's change the size to 5,331. And we'll make sure that it's flush with our wall. And then clone it again. And then we'll make this one 2,596. And we'll join it with the other beam. And then clone it onto the other side, to the other end of the beam. Now we'll also clone our column. Make sure that the size is locked when you move it all the way to the other side. And we change the measurement down to 2,700. And you place it at the two front corners. And then I will scroll and add our double folding doors. And make it 3,700. And we'll place it at 446. And we'll change the door from solid to French door, and then we'll make sure that it's closed in 3D. So this is what it should look like when you've changed it to a French door. And then we'll clone it. And let's just make our door to 2000 so that the measurement does not keep on moving around. Let's make it 2000, then lock the size, and then you move it all the way to the other room, because this will be the exit from the room onto the back porch. And then now we can simply add our doors. Alright, then I'll resize my door to 810. If you didn't change the vertical position, that's how it looks in 3D. So we want it to be, rather our door to start straight from the ground, rather the floor level. So that's why we change the vertical position down to the height, which is 2,100. And then now we clone the door, we put it on the other room, which will be our guest room. And clone the door for our kitchen exit. Alright, So since this will be a double story and it'll be carrying weight from above, what we'll do is that we will create our carry beams using the wall tool, which is that pencil mark right there. I'll resize the width of my wall to 220 millimeters. And then I'll just make it 3200, basically from wall to wall. And then I'll clone it, move it to the other side, and also have it flush. And then I'll go ahead and clone that wall again, and I rotate it, and we'll just leave it right here for now. What I need to do is that I need to get it to be at the right spacing, and the reason for me to get your right spacing is because there'll be a passage on the upper floor. So I want the wall that I'm about to add right now to be resting exactly where I want it to be. So for me to find my proper spacing, what I'll do is that I'll drag my wall tool again, and I'll draw up my wall, and the spacing for the passage on the top floor will be 1141, or rather 1411. And then now I can move my wall. And then now I'll draw up another spacer. I'll set it to 2553. Now I'll draw up another wall, and I'll set it to wall again. Like I said, this basically acts as my spacer, so then I can go ahead and delete that. So this is what it looks like in 3D. This is just beams that I wanted to support the upper structure. So to avoid having, all these walls in the house, I will create openings, and you do that by going to structure and go to door, and you find opening. And then you set the height to 2500. Okay, so now you can just go ahead and drag it to this middle wall right here, and I'll resize it to 2900. And then clone it. So I want a column here to support my carry beams. So what I'll do is that I'll go outside and I'll take my column, clone it, and bring it all the way into the inside and place it right in the middle of my two joining walls. And I can move my opening to make it flush with my column. And I'll clone it. I do the same for the other side. So basically I'm going to do the same for all these walls. Just basically create openings. And then I'll leave a space right here to put my column again. Clone it, and I'll add my column right there. And let me just resize it to make sure it's flush with my column. And then I'll clone my opening again, and I also make sure it's flush. My opening is flush with my column. Then I'll clone, for the last time. So this will be my opening again. Let's make it wall to wall. Okay, so this is what it should look like in 3D. So basically this frame-like structure now acts as my support beams for the upper floor. Okay, and then now we can start adding our windows. I'll resize it to 500 and change the height to 1800, and I'll set the vertical position to 2300. And then you can clone it and lock my size once again so that I don't lose my size. Just change the sizing to 1000. And change the vertical position to 2100, and also change my height to 900. Clone my window, and I'll add it in the guest bedroom, and also just change the size to 700, vertical position 2100, and I'll change the width of my window to 2300. Clone it, do the same for my dining space. I'll make it 1595 and change my vertical. I'll change my height to 1700 and change my vertical top position to 2100. Clone it and I do the same for my kitchen area. I forgot to change my window height, so we'll go to our settings and I'll change the height to 900 and the vertical position back to 2100. And I'll do the same for the side windows too. Alright, so then now the next step is to build our staircase. So what you do is you go to menu, go to structure, and drag downstairs. Change the sizing to 1000 by 2294. Then we'll change our height to 1900 and our vertical position also to 1900. Sorry, we change our vertical position to 2700. Okay, and then now we'll add our landing. Make sure that both arrows from your landing and the staircase both face the same direction. And then these are our dimensions: 200 height and 800 vertical position. I'm happy with that. And then now we add another staircase. We join it to the side. We join to the side of our landing, but you have to make sure that the arrow is facing the landing. And then we'll resize it down to 1128. We lock our size. Make sure that it's touching the landing. Change the height to 600. And then we'll resize it to make sure that it's the same size as the landing. And once your stairs are done, the line should go right through from the beginning of your staircase all the way to the end. That way it means that your stairs are perfectly aligned with each other. For the sake of this video, I'll be making it a 2-part series, so please do stay tuned for part 2 and don't forget to share, like and subscribe.